Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation led by Deacon Pete Shoemaker.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sam Seiler informed me a few minutes ago, and I was not aware, that there are many communities that will not and do not allow prayer at this type of a conclave. In our community, we've had God first in our community, and it's been our custom always to pray before council meetings. And that's a privilege, an honor, and believe it or not, a blessing to us all who live here. Let us pray. Gracious Father, we thank you, bless you, and ask your blessing on our lives, our labor, our families, all those who are assembled here, Lord. Continue to enrich our hearts in community service. Continue to allow us to serve you in all that we do and hold you first in all that we do. There are times, Lord, when we know it's not easy to come out in community service and to campaign for something we believe in and to stand up for a community that we take pride in, a place where we can raise our families safely, honestly, and work hard at promoting good community. Bless all the souls here that will work in community service. Especially, we lift up those in the police force, in the fire, rescue. Bless those who keep us safe, Lord. In this room, Lord, allow your Holy Spirit to allow productivity, understanding, cooperation. All these things we ask in your precious name, Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Amen.
Thank you, Deacon Shoemaker. Welcome, everyone. This regular meeting of the Township Council is being held in accordance with the scheduled meetings of the Township Council, established and adopted by the Township Council, which schedule designated the time, date, and place of this meeting. Adequate public notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act. We are using an electronic amplifying and recording device, and in order to obtain an audible and clear record, we request that all those wishing to speak be recognized and state your name and address directly to the microphone. The recording device to be solely utilized by the Township Clerk's Office and shall be the official record of the Township Council meetings. Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Hutchison?
Present.
Mr. Schmidt?
Present.
Mr. Seiler?
Here.
Mrs. Strato? Here. Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Mercado?
Present.
Mr. Bianchini?
He's excused.
Mr. Blanca? Mr. Lechner?
Here.
Mr. Earl?
Here.
Mr. Carlemere?
Here.
Mr. Cardis?
Here. We have a presentation from the students from Timber Creek High School presenting a check with a Field of Dreams.
I'm the Student Assistance Coordinator and the Anti-Bullying Specialist at Timber Creek High School. Here we have Ashley Golden, Megan Fryer, and Abby Sweeney. They're seniors at Timber Creek. For the past 2 years, they have worked hard to develop and initiate the R-Word campaign throughout the Black Hills Pike Regional School District. Using research, personal experience, and genuine compassion, they created a presentation to encourage students to abolish the derogatory use of the words retard and retarded. In 2013, they presented this campaign to Timber Creek's entire student body. This year, they not only continued the campaign at Timber Creek, but also spread the message to Triton's entire student body. Through t-shirt sales, faculty dress-down days, and donations, Megan, Ashley, and Abby were able to raise $500 that we are presenting to you tonight. We all have a special place in our hearts for people with special needs, and it means so much to us to help in the development of the Field of Dreams. We are honored to do whatever we can for the community, and I also want to congratulate these three young ladies, because as they graduate in a short time, they have certainly left a legacy at Timber Creek. So,
Great job.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
And I know on behalf of the foundation and the Field of Dreams committee, we thank you so very much for your $500 donation. But I think more importantly, I want to say thank you for your leadership, for really stepping up to the plate and making a difference in your school, while at the same time raising money for a great cause. It shows a lot about who you are as individuals and the leaders that you are. I congratulate you on your upcoming graduation, June 25th, I believe it is, and that's an exciting time in your lives. And I'm sure that wherever life takes you, you will continue to have the same leadership traits that you have today. So thanks for really standing out, being a great role model for the other students at Timber Creek, and for your donation. We will break ground this year on the Field of Dreams. We've raised over $100,000 so far. More to go, but we are working on that, and certainly, again, really appreciate your leadership and the donation today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Thank you. That's great. Do we get to keep it? Yeah. Good. Okay, we'll put it up in the doors.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
We have a closed session. Read the resolution? No. So if I could entertain a motion to go to closed session on a personnel matter, it should take approximately 15 minutes. So I entertain a motion to go into closed session. I'll make that motion. Is there a second? On the question, roll call.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Ms. Prado? Yes. Ventures?
Yes.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Hey, love, give me a squeeze. Look at this one.
I know, out and about.
Thank you, good to be here. Thank you.
You look good.
Thank you for your prayers and all.
You look well.
They gave me 2 new knees, and in a couple of months I'll be done. And I'm starting all over. I've already built enough for 5 women. So now I'm starting all over. And I'm
No, you're good enough for 5 and 8. Women last longer.
That's true. That's true. Hey, listen, Ben Coates, you guys are in your prayers. You know he lost his wife a year ago. Ben, Deacon Coates, he lost.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And we're not sure if his youngest daughter's going to make it today. Yeah, renal failure. No, kidney failure. And down in DC. So I've been with them most of the day today, and having just lost his wife, and now getting ready to lose his youngest daughter, 50 years old. So keep Ben in your prayers, and his daughter. Prayer's powerful. Of course, at the end of the day, he's in charge, not us, but we praise him and glorify him.
If it wasn't for him, see, I live in a house by myself, and I have to downsize. My life now is like a piece of paper in your hand.
That's well put.
I don't know whether to zig or zag. I'm thinking about leaving New Jersey and go to Tennessee.
Somebody there.
I just received a call that I'm the nearest kin to a cousin of mine, and he just buried his wife. And he can convert anything to money. He even makes dogs. He had some hunting dogs. I don't know the name of them, but something special. And he made for these dogs that people were calling, coming from every direction.
Wow. Good for him. Good.
He retired from the Navy. He's in charge of the beauty of the center city of Nashville. He has a fleet of trucks and men. It's like you know how they have spring clean up and winter snow and whatever you do downtown. And he keeps it polished.
That's what keeps him going.
Yeah, you gotta have purpose.
He has purpose. I'm trying to remember what you do. You look so nice. Why you're all so cute?
Would you quit it some more?
Well, every time I see you,
I'm still in real estate. I still have your poem that you gave me when I came to your home.
which one was his word?
Yeah, well, I have it in my memorabilia. She wrote me a poem of appreciation for working with her and helping her in her house. Yeah.
Well, I need you to come back.
Feel somebody's presence.
I do.
Happy Mother's Day, dear. How are you?
Ray,
It's your boyfriend.
God bless you.
How are you, dear?
Thank you for your prayers.
Always, always,
She's
always.
got new D's.
I have no knees.
I want them.
Can you see the scar? I want them. I got scar.
Only guy, only be needle.
Shoulder.
That's all right.
I need shoulder.
Scars are just proof that we've walked this earth. Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Well, but I need to talk to you again some more.
You're talking about downside, like leave
Downsize.
leave it all together.
I want to get rid of my house. It's too much house.
Been too much house for you for the last 10 years, lady.
That's easy. That's right.
I keep saying, when I sell my father's house, I'm selling mine. My dad's not even great. Still cuts his own grass.
You need help ever downsizing, you know, you call me.
He's determined he's going to live to 105. So,
Ken Lichter. Ken Lichter, his mother is 107.
God.
I'm going to be 120.
God bless you, I don't stand.
Well, we just buried Dad's cousin last October. She was 101.
That's
And
amazing.
my great-grandmother was 104.
And how long? How much you going to be?
I'll probably get hit by some.
God forbid. Don't even say it. Don't even say it.
Get hit by a truck.
I said, you know, I've got longevity on my father's side. I've got longevity on my mother's side. With my luck, I'll get hit by a truck.
Don't even say that. No, don't even hear it. Don't even
So,
hear it.
no, I'm going, you know, but as soon as I sell his house, and I'm not denying in 1 second here. He's an Irishman and he's a Marine, so he can do it. He can do it.
Yeah.
Thursday, they're going to be giving medals out in the township and down at Timber Creek
Oh, how
for
cool.
World War II veterans.
No kidding. That's neat. That's neat. That's neat. That's neat. I played golf with today with a man who was involved in building the kitty hawk.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? Ben Coates. Deacon Coates plays golf. And he's 78 years old. And he beat me by 6 strokes.
Where'd you play?
Valley Brook.
76 isn't old.
I feel like I'm 186.
Well,
But
we all feel that way.
at times, give me strength.
We all feel that way, but
Are you going to help me get straightened out? I'm just floating around like a piece of paper in your wind.
It's a great analogy. Yeah, at times I feel like that way too. When I say, Lord, give me direction. And he blows me in the right direction.
Well, I'd be glad when he gives me the direction. I need some direction.
I think you've got direction. You just want a little support.
Nudge. And support,
You
yes.
just want a little support to say,
Yeah.
you're right. You're right.
Was it your son that was living in that house? It was some young man that was living in the house. I mean, you moved him out, I think, right? This got to be 7 years ago.
Okay. There was a fellow there. He's a prize fighter.
Yeah.
And I taught him in the 80s.
No. The prize fighter was there too. He was a friend of your husband's.
Oh, my husband, no. My husband tried to give him my house. His daughter packed up my stuff, put my clothes in the garage and in some bags. They tried to put me out my
Own house.
girl. I had oh, wow. I have been through. And then, I wondered if Georgia wanted something like, you know, because she was only bringing like noodles and stuff in her blue bag and put water on it and some seasoning, and that's what it
I'm gonna ask permission to head on now. I've got it.
how soon you gonna start helping?
Whenever you're ready to pull the trigger and do it, call me on it.
Well, how will you know how much was the value of my house?
That's what I do for a living.
He'll walk through it, he'll look at it, he'll compare it with the other houses in the neighborhood. You call him this week. You call him this week.
I'm telling them now. I'm telling you in service and faith to faith.
Call her tomorrow.
I don't have her number.
856. Put down my cell number. 609. Sarah Young.
I remember that.
609.
Oh, 609.
505. 043.
When's a good time of day for? You
9.
sleeping?
9 o'clock.
We'll call you sometime this week.
Call her tomorrow.
Now, instead of saying using the word bill, because a lot of realtors are calling me, and you know, I just shout on.
Oh, did you?
I guess you could mention Ben Coates' name. You know, Alice and Jay.
Well, say he'll talk to you here at the council meeting.
Yeah. Well, not today. I have another meeting, but
No, but,
yeah, I mean.
so she knows it's you.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, what do I have to do now? I'm getting
Nothing. Just, we'll sit, we'll talk, we'll develop strategy. The big thing is where you go and when. Because when you sell your house, lady, it means you're
You
packing.
gotta pack up and get out.
Going. So you gotta have a solid foot on where you're going. So your next step is to say, am I really going to Tennessee? And if so, when? Because you don't have to be in that house when I sell it.
You can go now, say it.
Yeah.
And when it sells, they'll take care of it.
You're smart, but
You can have it completely
Tell her that.
empty.
She might ask for a
she
raise.
has always been.
You can get yourself
work for
all ready.
him?
No, we're just friends.
You could pass my
But,
brother and sister.
but we have round things.
We're helping.
Yeah. Well, that is so
Pray a lot.
Pray for me, touch me.
I was walking around the track this morning and I found a penny heads up, and when I came out the door tonight, come here, I saw a rainbow.
Ah, cool. Nice. That's sweet. That's sweet.
Good day.
Keep me on your prayers.
My son,
I need it.
It's good to see you. I haven't seen you forever.
Well, I've been through so much. But honey, I'm just like a lily. You know, it comes along all that muck and mire and slime.
It looks so perfect.
And when it comes out,
Lily of the Valley. And they you have to probably keep on going, keep on going, keep on going.
I want to know, what do you think the value of my house
I
is?
gotta see it. Has anything changed since I was in it 7 years ago?
A little bit.
Well, that's vague. I'll have to see it.
but the market's changed in 7 years too, so
Oh, yeah, it's been 7 years of down.
market's been down for 7 years, so,
Yeah, worst housing market in history.
and I kept saying it was going up, and now they're kind of
It's flat,
adjusting
it's
that.
flat, it's flat, but the last quarter, prices have gone up a smidgen, and inventories have gone down. So we'll be all right, it's just a matter of, as my dad used to tell me, he said, there's a butt for every saddle.
Spell
A butt, B-U-T-T,
There's a butt for every saddle. So somebody will buy it.
somebody will buy it.
See that? Just keep faith, that's all. I'm gonna run, guys.
Take
Thanks.
care.
God bless you.
All right.
Absolutely.
I'm lost. I am so.
It's like he says, you have to know somebody get rid of everything else?
I don't want anything. My husband I didn't intend to marry him. His mother didn't want him. She was going with a married man. She was meaner than a junkyard dog. He was afraid of her. She used to throw stuff at him. And when she found out she was pregnant, she hurried up and married some lady and told him that that was his fault. I'm going to the cemetery and you do it.
And I'll start watching like that.
You'd like to?
Tell me about this. What is this about?
I'm not real sure. I didn't look at it before I came. But they have the consent agenda, so that's the consent agenda, so that's everything where they make one vote on all of these things. And then the only other thing they have on here is this, which is they're putting out bonds, and I want to know how much they're putting out. The rest of it is all going to be done in one fell swoop. Authorization granting the permit for Gloucester Township Scholarship Committee for fireworks for Gloucester Township Day. Authorizing refunds for the community development. President, council approving payment of bills, refunds from the community development. Here's one authorizing the release of
What's
securities.
community development?
Full-on refund for grading in, grading.
What's grading?
They were doing road work on all these different properties. So they're issuing refunds. So it's lots funded the remainder of their unexpended escrow. They were having work done and they had to put money in to cover it in case there was a problem. So now the work is done, everything's fine. So now they're returning the money that people put up in case there was a problem. There's no problem, they give them money back. So that's what that one is.
That man's name. What's his name?
That's John Campbell.
What's his name?
He's the engineer, township engineer.
I need to talk to him. Should I call him here or should I have to?
John? I don't know what you want to...
Well, hello. I haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you back again.
He has dimples. Have a seat.
What's up?
She got your knees. Now she's back in action.
I had both of them. But I'm not walking too well. My body is...
Well, it takes a while to get used to.
And I stayed in the wheelchair to bowl. I need to get up and walk.
So what did you want to ask John about?
I need him to come into my neighborhood. Let's go out together and talk about it.
She's on Peter Street.
Yeah, no.
Oh, he says he's been there. He's been to your house.
I want to go out with you in my block. So, looks like all the filth and everything right now is in the front of my house.
It just washes down there.
No, I don't know how it all gets there. But there's a fellow named, he works at the building. He drives all the equipment. Do you know who I'm talking about? Starts with an S. Now, he drives the equipment. They come through my street, have all the equipment in the world, and every now and then they'll do a spot in a spot.
Why don't you call Public Works and ask them to send the street cleaner down your street?
they promise will be good.
Well, you can ask tonight, and they'll answer.
Or maybe Forrest might be first.
Yeah, why would you need?
Well, because he's in charge of all the departments and the industry.
And you write his name down.
Well,
That's Graham.
But, another grandson.
another grandson.
Yeah, the second one.
Congratulations.
For 6
I
months.
circled his name. I circled his name.
Mr. Carter. I saw him today over there. The short guy.
Yeah,
I saw him
over where?
at the maintenance building.
Okay.
Is he here tonight?
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
it's right up.
up there. The public works director is here tonight, so. The
Is that,
director's,
is that Len or Kevin?
that's Len's public works director.
They
Kevin
changed
might
hats,
be- yeah,
so I never
Kevin
know
might
what.
be the better person to talk to Kevin, whoever they
Which room?
Jerome.
Is that on? You know everybody.
Kevin would be
I
first.
circled his name.
His name isn't on there. It's just the way he likes it.
That's right, when we know who I am.
I need your help.
Well, it's a water problem.
I understand it needs repaving.
Peter, you the road community, especially up at the intersection of Town.
But when you start talking about it,
What's your
Sarah,
name?
but Sarah, when you start talking about it, that it needs doing, that means a year, maybe two from now. Because if it's not on the list for this year, then it'll be a year, maybe two from now. So the thing is, say it and get it on the list.
On the list, well, what'll happen is we have a long list of roads that we want to pave. Forward and down every fall, there.
Which road is it most needed?
Joanne Carr. The lady who knows it all.
Far from it.
Where's your office? Where is it? President of this council?
Well, Len's not in today, so
I went to the police academy with the guy. Their bench driver. Yeah. That is their new driver. Yeah. That is a nice guy.
We'll see about
And there is a, you know where Fountain, they named it something else.
Where you road?
Yeah. But from right there up to Ariel, there's a block right there. To the bank, goes up to the service station. There's a block there. It's never been cleaned up since I lived there since 1970. On Peter
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Hutchison?
Present.
Mr. Schmidt?
Thank you.
Mr. Seiler? Mrs. Estrada? Here. Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Mercado?
President, we are discussing a personnel matter that's still ongoing. Okay, we'll have our first public portion. This shall be for any agenda items only. Mr. Kittleson.
Just a clarification on Resolution 143.
Yes.
Jim Kimball, Swiss Valley. Not sure if this is working.
We can hear you. You're good.
Okay, I'm loud enough. Anyway, it just mentions the Route 42, the shared services, Route 42 interchange. Now, in the workshop, you were talking about it being College Drive. You were more specific. If this gets passed in this way, would that open up the township to shared services for Blackwood Clementon, Bowles, Black Horse Pike, Sicklerville?
Dave, what do you think?
Well, let me take a look at this for 2 seconds here.
Does Route 42 interchange? So you're looking for something a little bit more specific, so
Right.
we're not holding and cleaning up the entire 42.
You know, I'm a detail-oriented guy, and,
Well, specifically, it's for the Route 42 interchange.
which,
Specifically in drafting the agreement between the county and the township, we talked about the county's responsibility for certain aspects in maintenance of the interchange roads, and then the township's responsible to reimburse them on bills that they submit. So is your question, is it beyond Route 42 entry?
well,
It's
Route
not.
42 interchange, is that the exit?
College Drive.
Yeah, we should mention college.
Yeah, so I guess engineering wise, is include more.
I'm not familiar with the agreement here. I presume this is for the roads, new roads that were built in that to the Route 42 and the Blackbird
It's
Pike.
specific to College Drive.
Specific to College Drive itself. Okay.
Just add in there, at College Drive.
You can do that at
Yes.
College Drive.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Anyone else? Ms. Carr?
I have a question about the last thing, the bonds that we're putting out. I
Yes.
didn't see any explanations over on the side. How much are we putting out or requesting?
It's $2,150,000.
Those are for various drainage projects throughout the township.
Correct. $2,155,990.
And in regards to the last thing you were talking about, with the shared services with the county, I always get weird with the council. This is something that's beneficial for both of us. It's not putting most of the work on Gloucester Township, and it's relieving the county of responsibilities.
They approached us last May, and we've been working with them, going back and forth. I think it helps both of us in maintaining that particular interchange there. We want to keep that site manageable. Tom, you want to add anything into it? Costs? When we put out to bid, I guess the cost exceeded what the county would have charged us, correct? He quoted it, yes, he quoted it, so we knew it was a good.
But are we talking about lawn maintenance, are we talking about snow removal, what are we talking about?
Lawn maintenance, snow removal, I don't believe snow removal, I don't believe that's
Snow
included.
removal, repairing the roadway itself is the county.
Okay.
The maintenance, the agreement itself, sorry, I don't really have it right here, but the agreement itself defines what is their responsibility and ours, and they do the bid process and coordinate it, and then the township reimburses them on the purchase.
I know one of the services is grass cutting.
Yes.
But from everything you're looking at, it's a quid pro quo, it's an even deal. Nobody's getting a better end of the deal.
I like even deal better than quid pro quo, yes, even deal. I think it's an even deal.
Okay. Well, I know we've taken on a lot of responsibilities for the county. And I just didn't want another thing like that, they get to lower our county taxes, but meanwhile, our township taxes go up in the meantime. And personally, I'd rather share it with all the county. So, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no hands, we'll close the first public portion. Bid report.
Lawn services?
Entertain a motion? So moved.
Second.
On the question, roll call.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Sada?
Yes.
Mrs. Estrada? Yes. Mrs. Winters? Yes. Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Minutes?
Waive the reading and accept the minutes of regular minutes, April 14th and April 28th, executive session minutes, April 14th, May workshop.
Is there a motion? So moved. Roll call?
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Estrada? Yes. Mrs. Winters? Yes. Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Next, we have our consent agenda. Any council member that would like to remove any of the resolutions, please speak up. Also, we'll have the amendment on Resolution 143 to include at College Drive. Thank you, Mr. Kibbleston. I entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
On question? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Crowder?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Yes. Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Regular agenda.
I'm trying to...
Not a problem.
Okay. 148, resolution of the Township Council of the Township of Gloucester County of Camden, New Jersey, confirming the details of the sale of the Township's General Obligation Bond Series 2014 Million General Obligation Bond Series 2014C to the New Jersey Environmental Infrastructure Trust and the State of New Jersey, acting by and through the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection pursuant to the 2014 New Jersey Environmental Infrastructure Trust Financing Program.
May I have a motion, please?
Second.
On the question? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Seiler?
Yes.
Mrs. Crowder?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. We do have one GT Gov email. This is from Mr. John Stefanu regarding a exit from PNC Bank on 10th Street and the Black Horse Pike in Glendora regarding a pothole. That particular, in response to your email, sir, there was some coal patch that was done there. They're planning on cutting it out and patching again, but we're also waiting for additional equipment to come in approximately 10 days, Tom, the new
Yeah, 10 days for the new paver.
new paper. Okay.
And we're gonna put a hot patch on it tomorrow. And then we'll grind that down and re-asphalt it with the paver when that comes in.
Thank you.
And it might not be a bad idea to send Mr. Campbell out to take a look at it in terms of future road improvement.
Ted? PNC in Glendora.
Glendora. Yeah, I was actually going through that back today, and the road is not in good shape. Not at all.
Madam Clerk, if you can respond back to him. Thank you very much. We'll open up the second public portion. Mr. Polidoro.
See, that's on there. Is that on that microphone?
Might be dead. Yeah, I think I wasn't charged.
I'll do the best I can then.
Okay.
I'm just curious, sometimes I'll see articles in the patch. It relates to council goings on. And there are times when I don't know that there's somebody here from Patch. Is a report handed from either the mayor or council to Patch reporting on activities at the council meeting? I'm curious as to how they get a story that they don't appear here for.
I know as a body, council doesn't submit anything to Patch. We do have the live streaming. I know that the Patch editor is the Galloway Patch editor in Atlantic County. He lives in Hamilton. He attends other meetings that take place throughout the township, but I've yet to see him in our hall here since the transition of the former Patch editor.
It just seems that they are reporting on our township, and that's like a sports beat writer watching the ball game on TV and writing a story about it. It's just the same as being there.
With a cracker bat, you know, the old school.
Yes, he's not going to have as much fun watching it. Secondly, Mr. Gardner, last time I was here, I asked, because of a great conflict of two very important meetings in our township, including the Gloucester Township School District and our council meetings, the meetings conflict at the same time on the same evening. I inquired of you prospects of maybe looking into resolution or whatever action may be necessary that would let the governing body of the township maybe look into separating those meetings by keeping a policy that would have no two public meetings in the same meeting, especially those that are of that great importance. Some of, I don't mean to pick on anybody in particular, but Mr. Mercado, could attend both meetings. It's a shame that, you representing two bodies can't make both meetings, let alone the people not being able to make those two meetings.
Have you looked into that, and what have you found?
Well, I think we've discussed this at previous meetings, and my comment to council at a couple of meetings prior, that the governing body cannot direct a school board or any autonomous body when and where they will hold their meetings. They have to follow the notice requirements just like the municipal government does. And the township has scheduled their meetings, and it's been set on the first, second, and fourth Mondays of each month as long as I can remember. And I'm not sure how, if the school board has ever changed its meeting nights from what it currently has. But their jurisdiction is their jurisdiction, and the governing body is ours. If we did an ordinance that would try to prohibit that, I don't believe that our ordinance will control the school board as to when they hold their meetings. You know, just force the government to constantly change meeting nights.
I was here at that meeting we discussed. You would not be telling them when to have their meetings, but what other alternatives they should be looking for if they're trying to schedule a meeting on a conflicting meeting evening. It's not telling them when they can, but making forth an action that would state there is a regular public meeting going on this particular night. I mean, council's always been first, second, fourth Monday. The school board hasn't necessarily always been those same days. There were times when we could go to both meetings. Now it's gotten to the point. Not only that, if they want to pick a Monday, the third Monday of the month would be a bad thought. But our governing body, they're not going to move. They felt it necessary to tell you to move your meeting, and that was ridiculous. But I still think there's something that our governing body can do. They could just assist in keeping these meetings from conflicting. I'd like to go to a school board meeting. They seem to be getting a whole lot more fun than these meetings.
Ordinance-wise, would have no control. We could not adopt an ordinance that would tell other autonomous bodies that because we're holding a meeting on a Monday, they cannot hold a meeting on a Monday. And then sometimes this council meets on the third Mondays for redevelopment issues. So, you know, they meet different times also. So, I mean, it's an ordinance. You also have to look at how do you enforce it and regulate the ordinance. I believe that an ordinance that says you can't have two governmental entities meeting at the same time. We can control ours, planning board, zoning board, Gloucester Township. Our ordinance can control those type of things, but it can't reach out and control another entity and say you can't hold your meetings.
I'm not trying to pick, but how would that differ from when a holiday falls on Monday, you move your meeting on a regular scheduled Monday? How does that differ? It's with holidays, it allows you that.
Well, in most of those cases, we've advertised for the year. That will include those changes in the beginning of the year. We set our meetings for the whole year. So if it's Monday is falling on a holiday, our notice in January tells the public that that meeting will be held on Wednesday. Correct? Yes.
And I'll come to council meetings. I think it's a little rough that the school district of Gloucester Township chose to continue to have their meetings on the same nights as council meetings. I don't blame council for that. I think that they made some bad choices, and that would be the first that they've made.
Okay, Ray, do you have anything else?
I sure do. On the solar electric in our township, we spent, or it cost $20 million to build the solar program that's all over the schools with the proposed savings of $4 million over 15 years. Now we have them all fields in the school of solar on some of our buildings. We have a parking lot and public works. Does anyone have an idea just what the amount of power that's being generated within the boundaries of Gloucester Township is?
I couldn't provide that off the top of my head. That's something that I could probably get from the mayor's office or from our energy consultant. And I could provide that answer to you at the next meeting.
The fact that we're going into the electric delivery program, more or less, wouldn't the firm that we're hiring or the firm that is taking care of that electric delivery for the township, wouldn't they know before they enter into that just how much electricity is being generated in this township?
They're not that commercial, though, are they? They're not that
It's residential.
But it's being activated throughout the township on residential, correct?
Yeah, but it's not, but you're asking and referencing non-residential structures.
Well, the non-residential structures are the power being generated, going back to the grid, so as well as potential to do so, is that correct?
Let's go back to the grid.
Servicing the individual,
I think they're servicing the schools.
I've not been involved, except for one of the police station, I've been involved in others, but one of the police station, their services this building. And I believe the ones at the different schools are servicing the schools.
So where's the power being generated that is going back to the grid that is allowing us to get into the delivery program?
Well, the energy aggregation program, I don't think it's tied into solar panels at all.
No, it's not tied into a separate.
How is Gloucester Township able to deliver electricity without producing electricity and going back to the grid? That's what I guess I'm asking.
Deliver electricity to residents or deliver electricity?
Where is the power being generated that we're getting into that program, that we're hiring somebody?
It would be a bid process for an energy
They're going out to
provider.
bid for an energy provider.
Okay, but for the most part, and there are solar panels on the roof of this building,
On top of the police building.
the police building.
Police section.
Is it generating enough electricity for the whole building or just offsetting costs?
It's offset. You've got that, if you go out, there's that little kiosk right there, and it shows, going on for the day. Now, that's showing what's being generated each day.
Gotcha.
And it's a portion of what we use in the building besides really.
My question would be, following up on all them, and I apologize, with the electricity being produced in the boundaries and your township building, would it not be a consideration that the reason that this township went to a 4-day work week was to save on electricity? And now that we're saving on electricity, does that still warrant keeping a 4-day work week? Could we go back to a regular 5-day work week like the rest of us do?
The genesis of that 4-day work week went back to the late 70s with gas shortage and saving energy. We had a 4-day work week for our employees, but the municipal hall was open when I first got on council, Monday through Friday. And when Mayor Ralph Hatton took office, she brought it down to a 4-day work week, which was consistent Monday through Thursday, with the municipal building closed on Fridays. That's something I can forward to the mayor's office and his administration for consideration. Is that what you're asking for consideration, to have the hall open 5 days?
Sure, and with also keeping in consideration, there are folks that are going to need some after hours at maybe one evening, like the DMV provides one evening hour. 5:45 is not bad, but if you work regular, not 5, we're still raising them to
That's one of the
5:45.
advantages, the extended hours. You can come in here, you have to work, you call it 5, or before.
Yeah.
That was one of the advantages also, that it had extended hours in the morning and in the evening. That's what the 4-day work week provided for.
Understood, but still 5:45. I mean, it's good for some people, but if you work 5 o'clock and you're in Mount Laurel or Cherry Hill, you're not getting down here by 5:45. Anyhow, that's it. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Kolakowski?
Hey, Mark Olkowski, Glen Oaks, Lake Drive. A couple of questions. When are we expecting delivery of the Levoy spray catcher?
Is it 10 days? Is that-
No, I believe that there's going to be testing on that, training on that, excuse me, Wednesday, this Wednesday.
Okay.
So that's starting right away.
Okay.
And it's
has
the
there been-
paver that's 10 days out.
Okay. Has there been any discussion with the county doing a shared services agreement, us taking care of patching potholes on the county roads in the township?
Not to my knowledge.
Good idea, though.
I think we're going to start with our roads, because we have quite a lot of damage out there right
Because,
now.
I mean, I think more people probably travel the county roads since they're main thoroughways than probably the county roads. And even if it is a county road, people are in town, they're thinking it's a township road, or why is it a township taking care of it? And if we could create a shared service agreement that maybe we're not making a huge profit, but just giving us something extra, we could help pay off the money for it.
It's something we can approach the county about.
And then
I know they were gonna buy one of those machines, I don't know what
I think they
happened.
were renting one. They were renting one on their, this year, I think I read about it. And and maybe possibly, some shared services with other communities. I know we're doing street sweeping
Yes.
with Stratford, you know, places like Pinella and those, because I would also like to know, when does it become economically feasible to send it out? How many potholes do you need to patch, you know, to make it worthwhile to, you know, pay the operator and start it up? Because then if we have the shared services agreement, we might not have to wait so long to fill the ones in the township. If we're going to head out to Stratford, on the way there, take care of the potholes on, you know, wherever on the township side is. So I think that might be something that we would want to consider.
Okay.
And also, it seems that there are many items on the agenda that have to do with the Public Works Department, either mostly in terms of machinery that they're getting, their equipment and such. And I believe that Council President directed the department heads to be present at the council meeting.
Yes.
Like 2 years ago. Mr. Moff hasn't been here for a while. I don't know why, but even if somebody knowledgeable from that department could show up, who could answer the questions or who could give a report, I think that would be good, because it does seem that a lot of the requisitions of money are going to that department.
I'll request that of the mayor again. Thank you, appreciate it.
And then I got the summer report in the mail, the township report that comes in the mail. And in the message from the mayor, he talks about the energy aggregation program, and it will be bundled with all residential households, cutting costs in our township. And then it says, as well as with several other towns, to produce the largest energy aggregation bid in the entire state. Do we know what other communities we can bundle with?
Some of them. The largest one, I think, is Woodbridge,
Woodbridge?
North Jersey, and a lot of the municipalities around us, Winslow's participated. Not sure if Laurel Springs is limited. I don't have the list, but Woodbridge is the biggest one.
Woodbridge is, okay, but we don't know for sure which ones.
No, because they're still coming in at this point.
Okay. And when will that bid, has that bid been put out yet?
No, they're waiting for the right market conditions.
Okay. And also, he talks about, the mayor talks about the facade program for downtown Blackwood. And he talks about the establishment of an arts district. Right now, I know that there is Main State, they have their offices there. I'm very well acquainted with them. My daughter has gone through years of their summer program classes. She interned there for a couple of summers, and actually I appeared in their commercial talking about them. So I'm well aware of what they do. Other than that, what is being envisioned for that area as an arts district? What?
I'm going, Mr. Lechner, could you respond to that? Have you been involved in those conversations?
Well, mainly the start of it is the main stage, and the style program is there's a funding source for that. But as far as the actual district, we have I think the main stage is providing program, like a programmatic theme for this summer that's going to go with the farmers market, where they're going to have people doing shows, things of that nature.
Okay, because that's what I'm reading from this. It's sort of like you're having events, which to me doesn't necessarily say arts district. I mean, if you're talking about an arts district, you know, you're talking about, you know, a gallery or two, or, you know, someplace where shows can be put on. Right now, you know, there's no more theater. There's no theater no longer exists there. Nobody's probably going to come on in and build one because of the economics of it. So I'm just not wrapping my head about how you can call it an arts district when you have Main Stage putting on events throughout the year. So I'm just not sure what the mayor is envisioning for that area.
Well, I'll follow up with him, and next time I see you, I'll give you a little bit of the insight.
Okay. And then finally, also in the newsletter, there was an ad for the dog census takers, and they're needed. What, was that posted on the website, those?
Madam Clerk?
I am not 100% sure. I can check tomorrow if it's on the website.
Okay, because it said that the employment forms would be available at the municipal building between May 5th and May 8th. We got the letter, the newsletter on the morning of May 9th.
Yeah, it's supposed to, but we got several phone calls today and people came in and filled them out.
Okay.
So it's something that we try to get as many census takers as we can. It's not written in stone exactly when it is. So if we saw that we didn't have enough, we could make it later. It's something that we have to do every other year.
Right.
So if we find that we don't have enough by the end of this week, we can certainly change the dates of it. It's always 4 weeks, but we can make it a little later to get more people to canvass this year.
Right. My only concern is, if people are reading this and they'd be interested in it, if they see that the deadline.
I didn't realize it was going out so late, because I had to give that in.
Yeah, and I didn't see anything on the website that day.
Yeah, I'll make sure and we put something.
So I was just wondering, make it available to as many residents as possible. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else?
Yes,
Miss Sarah?
Sarah Young, 2306 Peter Cheese. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Number one. Route 42. At 10B, there was a repair, a new repair made on 42. Does anyone know, are they finished? Because it doesn't match. The cars are coming through and there's an awful bump when you hit it, coming in from Pennsylvania on 42.
Getting off at, what was that?
10B.
Yes, 10B, was it, yeah.
10 feet, that's the one that comes off the Gloucester Road?
No. It's, no, it's, where the, Caesar's Pasta is. The right hand side, Industrial Park. Pine Run exit, yes, the old Pine Run exit, thank you.
Are they going to leave it like that? It's tearing up all the cars.
Assuming that was something that the DOT did, that's part of what we can do. You can reach out to them.
Miss Sarah, did you hear that? Mr. Campbell will reach out to the Department of Transportation for the state.
And when will I hear from this? Because I bring things in and I never get any results.
I can reach out to them, if they're not going to give me an answer, it's another question. They're not,
Will you please let me know how you made out, please?
will do, okay?
Thank you. The last thing. Camden County, let's see. You're going to share the street cleaning. Trying to see what number that is at the end. 147. Authorizing the entering into the intermunicipal shared services, cleaning streets.
That's the
So
strategy.
how you going to go somewhere and clean somebody else's street? You ought to see what's in front of my door. I'm paying taxes, and you're going to go and clean somebody else's streets? Can you help me in front of my house, please?
I'm not familiar with the cleaning schedule. How often do our sweepers go out into the township?
They don't come in front of my door. They will go across the street now and then. You should see right now in front of my house.
I'm going to follow up. I'm going to ask Mr. Carson to follow with our Public Works as far as what the cleaning schedule is, Miss Sarah. And you are again on Peter Cheeseman, correct?
2306.
Yes.
Peter Cheeseman.
Okay. And that agreement is with Stratford, where we're going to do 2 Fridays. I think that's the max, 2 Fridays. We're not incurring any additional costs, and they're paying for our operators.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else?
No, I'm not finished.
Oh, I'm sorry. Peter Cheeseman.
What do I have to do to make an appointment to speak with Chief Earl. I would like to have a private conversation. Is it any way possible that I could come and see you and talk? I'm getting a lot of complaints.
Well, I'd like to hear it. If you're having some complaints, I certainly want to, of course.
Well, what do I have to do to make...
We'll speak with you after the meeting and we'll get some dates together.
Thank you. Doctor.
Is there anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close the second public portion. Polling the directors.
Mr. Lefner.
I have nothing to report, thank you.
Chief Earl.
Nothing to report, thanks.
Mr. Barlamere.
Nothing to report.
Mr. Cardis. Mr. Hutchison.
Thank you for coming out and staying. Have a wonderful evening.
Mr. Schmidt.
Thank you for coming out. Thank you for all your comments. Good evening.
Mr. Seiler.
Yes, I think it was great that these students from Timber Creek High School had the initiative to go out and raise money for the park, for the handicapped. Another thing is, as the minister mentioned tonight, the Supreme Court authorized that it was legal for local municipalities to do prayers at the beginning of the meeting. Gloucester Township initiated this action several years ago, way before this. And I'm glad that they took this action.
Mrs. Strata.
Thank you for coming out and have a great week.
Mrs. Winters.
Thank you for coming out. I also want to congratulate the students from Timber Creek. I think that's an awesome thing that they did.
Mr. Mercado.
I want to thank the Timber Creek residents, Timber Creek students, for their initiative in raising $500 for Field of Dreams. A belated Happy Mother's Day to the mothers out there. Moms. And some of you have noticed I've been occupying this seat for the last few weeks. Our council president has to go into the shop for some repairs. And so we're going to need your prayers and thoughts to be with him, but he'll be back. I'm just keeping the seat temporarily, but he'll be back amongst us shortly. So I ask that you keep him in your thoughts and prayers. I entertain a motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Tell Orlando he did a wonderful job.
No, you tell him that. He's already full of himself. I'm not going to help him.